Skylar, tying the franchise record for assists in a game on a franchise that's had the all-time assist leader, what does that sort of mean?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're mentioned in the same sentence as Sue Bird, that's a really big deal, especially here, but anywhere. You know, it just goes to show how much talent I have around me. Noe putting us in the right spots and just putting everybody in positions to be successful. And so, yeah, I mean, it means a lot, especially a decorated franchise as such. It's the reason why I came here, looking up to people like Sue Bird and trying to continue that legacy. But it shows the special group that we have. And, you know, play with great players. You have a lot of options to pass it to.
For you guys, just for like Gabby, the first time you guys played these guys, gave up 81, and it was totally different tonight. Just the difference was what?
I'm not going to talk about that first game. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. This is us. This is who we are. We know who we should be. I think after that first game, you weren't even like worried. We knew it was a one-off. We knew that wasn't our identity. It's not what we've been working on the last 3 weeks. So we were us the last 2 games, I think.
100%.
Skylar, you guys. You'd think I'd know how to use one of these before.
All right.
You guys went on that 12-0 run at the end of the third into the fourth. What was the catalyst for that?
I thought we were extremely, I thought our physicality throughout the game, and that's where I felt we lacked in the first game. They took us out of some of our stuff, but we were really intentional about stringing together stops to finish the quarters. And that's where we feel like we could be better at, is starting and finishing quarters more intentionally. And I thought we did a good job of doing both at the end of the third and the beginning of the fourth there.
For either of you, can you talk a little bit about Erica Wheeler's contribution tonight? And Skylar, you especially singled her out out there. So, what did you see from her today?
Yeah, I mean, she was a vet. She had the best plus minus. She can come in and take care of the basketball. She can give me and Gabby opportunities to play off the basketball. It gives us another handler in there. She's good on the perimeter defensively. And like I said, she's a vet. She's heady. She's poised. She gives us some emotional leadership as well. And so very capable of leading us and having the ball in her hands. We trust her with that. But I thought everybody came in and gave us great minutes tonight. It was great contributions from the bench, obviously. You know, just continuing to develop our identity and who we want to be. And I thought we took some steps towards that defensively tonight.
Gabby, in your past few years here in Seattle, we've seen you kind of step up in whatever way that the team needs. You've talked about the French Army knife. Tonight you led the team in 3 points made. How do you prepare? How do you stay prepared to be ready for whatever part on the stat sheet Noe needs you to help with?
Scout. Scout. Noe says this is what we need from you this game. This is what we need from you this game. Also, I think just trying to get a feel for the game, trying to find out who's hot. It was very obvious that Sky was hot from the beginning, so I think it was smarter for me to bring up the ball and get her in off-ball actions to get, she couldn't miss. And if she wasn't shooting, she was finding someone open with those 14 assists. So just trying to read the game and see where I can be the most useful. And so I think that just comes with a lot of scouting, a lot of video, a lot of conversations with coaches, and just being prepared.
Gabby, they tied the game at 70-70 with 4:48 left. You guys held them scoreless the rest of the game, and you held Alyssa Thomas and Satu to 1 point in the fourth quarter. Can you just talk about your defense? Yeah, at the beginning, it could have been very easy to get defeated a little bit because they were hitting some really tough shots. Yeah. But I think we just knew, you can't hit that difficult of shots during 40 minutes. So just trying to stay solid, not changing too much. Obviously, we made adjustments because we needed to, because they were getting some easy looks. But on the difficult ones, just staying solid in that and just trusting ourselves. I tried to get into Satu's space a bit more. Yeah. I think in the first half, I gave her a little bit too much freedom. So just trying to make things a bit more difficult for her by being closer to her.
Hello, ladies. Congratulations on a big win. Skylar, obviously you're doing your job on the scoring aspect of the game, but you had 1 steal in each of your first 3 games this season. No other Storm player has done that. Talk about your focus on defense.
Yeah, I mean, we know where we want to be defensively, where we need to be defensively in order to compete, how we want to compete at the end of the year and in the playoffs. And it's really just establishing ourselves. Like I said, I thought we took a lot of strides defensively in the last 2 games of what we want to do. I thought Gabby was tremendous tonight. AC had great minutes. NECA had great minutes on AT. Ezzy always is our anchor and may not show up right here, but Ezzy is a force in how she anchors our defense, and we rely on her. And so, yeah, I mean, when you play with great defensive players, you know, I have to step up to the plate. And so I don't have to be the best defender in our lineup, but I think just from a standpoint of guarding the basketball, trying to set the tone there, minding my point and pickup, you know, just trying to be disruptive.
Hey, Skylar. Dominique Malonga made her home debut. In her minutes, what stood out to you about her contribution and really as she's arrived here in Seattle?
Yeah, just continue to get a feel for the game. You know, she got a steal, she got a rebound, she made a bucket, she shot a 3. And that's just going to be, we're going to continue to see her more and more and more as the year goes. I mean, obviously she's playing behind two of the greats. But, you know, she's getting in where she fit in. We love having her on this team, her spirit. She'll be a star on this team for 20 years. And to see her in her development and be a part of the first one is really special. So it's been great having her in the locker room, and we'll continue to see her development as she gets, you know, more opportunity. Shout out to NECA Ogwumike first and foremost for passing Rebecca Brunson, 8th all-time in defensive rebounding. I think that's just amazing. Every night now we're talking about NECA Ogwumike breaking records, and she's somebody that deserves her flowers. That's one of my best friends. But she's playing like an MVP in this league again. I'm never surprised, but I'm always impressed. So shout out to NECA.
And someone else tied a franchise record, right?
We ain't talking about that right now.
All right, last question. We'll go to Zoom.
Erica Wheeler had a big spark with minutes off the bench. How do you guys think her energy impacted the game tonight, but also technically on both sides of the ball?
I think Sky already answered it.
They ain't been listening.
Sky answered
I
it.
just said that, didn't I? She's great. She's a vet. That's what we expect out of her. She's great in the locker room. She's always talking, very vocal on the bench. You know, y'all don't be paying attention on Zoom.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Shout out to the Storm Crazies, too. Right on.
The way Skylar is playing to start this season, how difficult is it to take her off the court, and what, you know, how is she sort of setting the table for everything you're doing?
Yeah, it's difficult to take her off the floor because she's commanding on both sides. You know, what she's doing offensively, but also her just prowess defensively. She's prepared for the season. She was very intentional about going to Unrivaled and preparing her mind and body for this particular season. And so there's just a lot of communication with her during the game. I know that we have to make sure we're mindful of keeping her sharp and fresh, but also when she's playing at a high level, it is very difficult to remove her off the floor. We'll see how this continues to go. Sometimes you just have to win the game. And if that means Sky plays 37 minutes and sets franchise record for assists and has a double-double, then we'll live with that.
In your previous game, you allowed 10 points in the fourth quarter. Tonight, 9. What is it about your defense? Is it just getting better as the game goes on? And then in particular with Skylar at the end, she had 3 plays on defense in those final minutes. If you could talk about that as well.
I think it's our team's commitment to the goal that they've set to be a really good defensive team in this league. We have really good defensive players, but when I'm coming to the timeouts, they're constantly communicating, constantly taking accountability for a lot of things. And by the time, you know, I'm sitting there, it's just about, you know, adjustments or whatever. So this group is really bought in and understanding that, you know, what's in the locker room, that they're capable of that. And then, you know, it's a part of, like, training camp. Obviously, we have a lot of vets playing. But I think as it's still early in the season, so still, you know, adjusting to one another. But through the adjustments, I think we're finding where we can be really good on that side of the ball. And then Sky's plays were very, you know, key for us. I know one came after a turnover. I don't like to use the word sacrifice in our verbiage, but sacrificing her body in order to take that charge to get the ball back, it's huge. And her hands, her quickness, all those things. I mean, she's crazy that she's not been on an all defensive team in this league. It's crazy because she's the head of the snake. She's guarding multiple actions and multiple defenders, and she really sets the tone and the table for us.
Back to Skylar's offense, though. I mean, she not only set her own record for assists, but she tied Sue Bird. I mean, how much does that mean to this franchise specifically, to tie not only a Hall of Famer, but somebody who's that important to this franchise?
Yeah, Sky's elite. And I think we're, for so long we've played against her, and seeing her every day, I just understand her greatness. It's, where she takes her mind, how she prepares her body. But to be mentioned with Sue Bird in this franchise is amazing because obviously the Hall of Fame career that Sue had, cemented herself to be one of the greats. And for Sky to be able to continue to come into a new organization and continue to shine bright and it really speaks volumes to who she is, not only here in Seattle, but for the entire league.
Coach, you play the same team just a few days ago. The last game, they scored 40 points in the second half, and today you kept them at 26. What would you say are the key factors for that improvement?
The word of the day today was discipline. And the first game, it was just uncharacteristic of us. We were making, I like the group that we have. I trust them to make instinctual things, but it was just not sharp, and we weren't really executing the scout that first game. So today I felt like our discipline was intact more so than not. A couple of possessions maybe here and there, but the commitment to the actions that we were seeing, that's AT in the middle of the floor, the ball screens that she was receiving, that's SA2 coverage, and that's making sure we're getting to their three-point shooters. I thought also in the first game, our offense kind of dictated what our defense did. So we weren't really spaced well, and then we were in transition a lot. So I thought that both sides of the basketball, we were pretty sharp, and we were able to I think we had a stat. We had like 11 stops in a row over a course of the second half, and then we ended the game with 9 stops in a row. That's really where we want to live in.
Coach, you talking about those stops, those consecutive stops in a row. Erica Wheeler was on the floor when that was going on. When you talk about her production and her partner up with Skylar in that backcourt, what you saw at the backcourt in that second half that you enjoyed?
Yeah, E was a plus 14 off the bench. She's a vet in this league, so she knows, how to defend, how to play ball, and really her communication is always really A1, and her connectivity is, it's needed, and her ability to, defend multiple positions, but also offensively, I'm able to get Sky off the ball a little bit more, and even when Sky is on the ball, our next actions to E, we have another playmaker and able to kind of execute some ball screen reads. So there's some good stuff. According to the matchups, I think today, Phoenix goes small. And so we're able to kind of match their lineup. And I thought E did a great job on the floor.
Sky said Nneka deserves her flowers. Nneka entered the fourth quarter making 9 out of 10 shots and had 2 key baskets late in the game to kind of seal the victory. Can you just talk about Nneka?
It is an honor to coach her, starting with her leadership, starting with, just how she just leads by example, but also what she does every day to prepare herself for battle, taking care of her body, her film study, and all the questions that she asks. Nneka is a student of the game. As good as she is, she's still getting better. Putting her in space, her getting 17 rebounds last game. She's very elite, but also she plays the right way. She's not rushed. She's not sped up. She plays within herself. She plays some really good basketball. And defensively, having to guard AT for an entire game, I think Sky's right. We need to appreciate Nneka for the player that she is. She's, I can go on and on about her, but, an efficient 24. We had one late that kind of rimmed out. And sometimes when Nneka misses, I'm like, man, because she's so efficient. But, we expect it, but what she's doing, not a lot of people can do night in and night out. So just amazing performance by her. We're going to continue to feed her the ball, and I want her to lead us.
Final question, we'll go to Brendan.
Hey, Coach. Dominique Malunga, her home debut, she played 5 minutes. Can you talk about what you kind of saw and how she's kind of learned since she's been with the team?
Yeah, I talked about it earlier, Brendan. Dominique was with us a week late, so we're still kind of like getting her acclimated into our system. But I thought the minutes that she was out there, we can see what she does running the floor, her ability to kind of, close out and keep people in front, and her rim protection, all those things. So, she's going to continue to grow and get better. This is going to be a process of development, but also the times where we can, see her on the floor and see her thrive, and put her in positions to be successful. We're going to do that. She's a great human being. She's a sponge. She's learning. But it's still early. We have to make sure we're locked into her development, but also, she's going to keep growing and getting better. Thank you.